You know, every single thing you do, from thinking a thought to lifting a finger, burns fuel. But have you ever stopped to think about what that fuel actually is? Well, for most of us, the main, most efficient source is something we eat every day: carbohydrates. We're about to dive deep and break down exactly what they are and how they power, well, everything.
Seriously, think about it. When you're feeling totally wiped out, maybe after a really long day or some intense exercise, what's the first thing someone might offer you? Something with sugar, right? There's a really powerful reason for that, and it gets right to the heart of how carbs actually work inside our bodies. Okay, so from a chemical point of view, all carbs basically fall into one of three big families. The easiest way to think about them is like Legos. We're going to start with the single individual blocks, then see how they snap together in pairs, and finally, how they build these huge, complex chains. Let's start with the absolute foundation.
This is ground zero. The simplest, most fundamental type of carbohydrate out there is the monosaccharide. And that name, it literally just means one sugar unit. Now, if you remember one thing, make it this. No matter what kind of carb you eat, whether it's bread, an apple, pasta, whatever, your body has to break it all the way down into this simple, single molecule form to actually use it. Monosaccharides are like the universal currency for your cells. It's the only thing they'll accept.
And the king of all these simple sugars, that's glucose. This is that instant energy we were just talking about. You'll often hear it called blood sugar because, well, it's the main sugar that's always circulating in our blood, just waiting for our cells to grab it and use it for immediate fuel. That's why it hits you so fast when you're feeling drained. And the good news is, you don't have to look far to find it. Nature has packed glucose into all sorts of things, from sweet fruits like grapes and oranges to starchy veggies like carrots and corn. Even honey is just a fantastic natural source of this super fundamental fuel. This range here, this isn't just some random number. This represents the incredibly precise, super narrow window your body is constantly fighting to maintain for your blood glucose levels. Think of it like a thermostat for your body's energy. Keeping things in this delicate balance is absolutely critical to making sure your whole system runs the way it's supposed to. So what happens if you've got more glucose than you need at this very moment? Well, your body is incredibly smart. It doesn't just waste it. A hormone called insulin steps in, kind of like a manager, and it converts that extra glucose into a storage form called glycogen. Then it packs it away neatly in your liver and muscles, creating this perfect little energy reserve for later. And this right here is exactly what can go wrong in a condition like diabetes. If there isn't enough insulin to do its job, or it's not working right, that extra glucose can't get stored away. It's basically left stranded in the blood, which causes those sugar levels to climb way too high, far outside that healthy range we just saw. Now, glucose isn't the only simple sugar on the block. Let's meet its two cousins. First, you've got fructose, which you'll know as fruit sugar. It's what makes ripe fruits and honey so incredibly sweet. And then there's galactose, which is a piece of the puzzle you get when your body digests the sugar in milk. All right, so we've got our single Lego blocks. The next logical step, of course, is to see what happens when they pair up. And that brings us to the disaccharides, or, you guessed it, double sugars. You actually know these way better than you think. Sucrose, that's just plain old table sugar. It's a glucose molecule hooked up with a fructose molecule. Maltose is what you get when two glucose units join together. You find it in things like malted grains. And lactose, the sugar in milk, is just a glucose plus a galactose. When you eat them, your body's job is simple. Just split these pairs back into the single units it knows how to use. Okay, now it's time to meet the heavyweights of the carbohydrate world, the polysaccharides. These things are long, really complex chains made up of hundreds, sometimes even thousands of simple sugars all linked together. So unlike their smaller, sweeter cousins, these complex carbs are usually not sweet at all, and they don't really dissolve in water. See, they aren't built for instant energy. They're built for much bigger jobs: long-term energy storage and providing physical structure. Starch is the perfect example. You can think of it as a plant's packed lunch. Plants make all this glucose through photosynthesis, and then they link thousands of those glucose units together to store that energy for later. And that is exactly why starchy foods like rice, beans, and potatoes are such amazing, dense sources of fuel for us. You know what's cool? You can actually taste this process happening. Take a green, unripe banana.
It's starchy, kind of chalky, and not very sweet, right? But as it ripens, natural enzymes act like tiny little scissors, snipping that complex starch apart, breaking it back down into simple sugars like fructose. And the result? A much sweeter, softer fruit that gives you a way quicker energy boost. It's literally chemistry you can taste. So, if plants use starch to store all their energy, what do? We use glycogen. It's basically our version, sometimes called animal starch. It's our own personal, quick access energy reserve. Just like we saw before, it's built from any extra glucose we have, and it's stored away in our liver and muscles, ready to be called upon the second we need a burst of energy.
All right, get ready for a little surprise. What do you think the calorie value is for this next type of carbohydrate? It's 0. A big fat 0. How is it even possible for a carbohydrate to have 0 calories?
Well, the answer is fiber. We're talking about things like cellulose, which makes up the tough cell walls of plants. Think about the stringy bits in celery, or the outer layer of whole grains. The thing is, our bodies just don't have the right tools to break these complex carbs down for energy. So they pass right through us. But they are far from useless. This fiber is absolutely essential for keeping our digestive system healthy and, well, for moving waste out of the body.
So we've gone through all the different types, from the simple to the super complex. But let's bring it all home now and look at the payoff. What are the big, crucial jobs that carbohydrates are doing for us every single day?
Okay, job number one, and this is no surprise, is providing energy. Every single gram of carbohydrate gives us about 4 calories of energy. And in many diets around the world, as this chart shows, carbs make up the vast majority of daily calories. They are, without a doubt, our body's preferred fuel.
But their job goes so much deeper than just raw energy. By being the primary fuel, they spare proteins, freeing them up to do their vital work of building and repairing our bodies. Glucose is also the non-negotiable essential fuel for our brain and nervous system. And then you have specific carbs with special jobs. Lactose helps us absorb calcium, and as we just saw, the fiber from cellulose keeps our entire digestive system running like a well-oiled machine.
So the next time you eat something, whether it's a piece of fruit, a slice of bread, or some vegetables, you'll know the incredible chemical journey it's about to take. From complex chains to simple sugars, fueling everything from your muscles to your memories. It really makes you realize that every single bite is a choice about how you're going to power your body's amazing engine.